Hi.
Hey there.
Oh, hi, you're both together.
If you haven't already seen the footage of the CIA's ex-disguise chief talking on TED Talk stages and stuff about when she briefed President H.W. Bush in the White House Oval Office wearing one of these disguises and he didn't realize it.
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
Greatest dinner I've ever had. Come on, let's get a good.
Is that we're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children.
What's going on, everybody? It's been a while since I did a proper live stream, so I'm going to talk about, obviously, Joe Biden stepping down, Kamala Harris being the new president nominee or whatever they're saying she is, the call they had with Obama, Netanyahu went to Washington and also to Mar-a-Lago, and I want to talk about the Joe Biden stunt body double theory that's going around. I thought it was pretty interesting, as well as a few other things that caught my attention. Thanks for being here. Give me a thumbs up in the chat for the algorithm and to let me know the audio is good. Dream Rare Podcast starts now.
It's the Dream Rare Podcast. Welcome to the show. The way to get the news at the desk or on the road. Let's go. God is great and success in our control. The world is crazy, but we get better from obstacles. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? We got Kelly Skunk Works for You. Okay, thank you. Holly S, Frank, Kelly, Shauna, Tom. Appreciate y'all. It's been a while, and yeah, I got some stuff for today, and then I'll talk at the end about what's going on as well. But this should be a pretty long one, and let's just start with this phone call. I woke up, and everybody was like speculating that Obama didn't want to endorse Kamala Harris because something else was going to happen, but she did this totally not staged phone call. I'm being sarcastic. Obviously, it's like super staged. She's like on speakerphone, like, oh my gosh, I'm being recorded. Oh my God, who would have thought the Obamas called? Oh, you're together. Oh my God. It's like, yeah, like this wasn't all planned. Like you just spontaneously called them, whatever. Here's the phone call that came out today, and then we'll kind of riff off this.
Kamala.
Hello. Hi.
Hey there.
Oh, hi, you're both together. Oh, it's good to hear you both.
I can't have this phone call without saying to my girl Kamala, I am proud of you. This is going to be historic.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Oh my goodness. Michelle, Brock, this means so much to me. I am looking forward to doing this with the two of you, Doug and I both, and getting out there, being on the road. But most of all, I just want to tell you the words you have spoken and the friendship that you have given over all these years mean more than I can express. So thank you both. It means so much. And we're going to have some fun with this too, aren't we?
So cringe. Yeah, I don't know where to start with all this, but I'm going to take it to this. Like, it's a little abstract, off the cuff, but when Trump won, I've talked about this like months ago, or maybe even perhaps a year ago. I'm losing track of time, but there's like a reality shift. Like everybody's just kind of going through the motions. And then when Donald Trump won, it's like Trump world. Either you're with him or you're against him. Trump kind of maintained that aura, whether you liked him or not, until COVID. And then it was like COVID world. And then the whole world revolved around COVID-19. And then you couldn't even imagine what it was like 6 months ago. And then like BLM riots happened. And then everything was about the BLM riots. And you forgot about COVID for a month because you just wanted things to calm down. And obviously, the last couple of years, Biden's old. He lost the debate. He embarrassed himself. Trump was a huge front runner. And then Trump got shot and almost killed. And then all of a sudden, it's like Trump world. And then within a couple of days, I just thought it was kind of sketchy timing where they were like, you know what? We want to put Kamala in right now, or Biden's going to step down, or, you know, he might get sick, or he got sick. And he said if he got sick, then he might step down. Then he got COVID that day. Like, it all just seems so scripted. I'm not saying it is, but I mean, I do think that once Trump got shot and won the debate, they had like no chance and there was no energy. So they had to do this whole reality shift. And now it almost seems like the Trump assassination news is ancient, even though it was just a couple weeks ago. And all of this theater has kind of like upstaged it. So I could talk about this forever. I'm sure that's why people are tuning in. But in general, I would just say this. It's not about just what I think or what you think. It's like who goes to the polls and who votes. And hopefully everything's fair and square. But I'm just wondering, like, how dumb are people? I see things like trending now. I'm not trying to be rude, but, there's all these like Kamala brat and they're like trying to twist her into some like cool woman. Like, is that really going to work? I'm not sure. I saw this viral trend recently, people complaining about JD Vance and him saying cat ladies are running the country. I played it at the beginning, but I'll just play it again. It's like, is this really like working on the youth or the women? I don't know. I don't fall for stuff like this, but apparently this is like a TikTok trend that's going on.
Is that we're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made. And so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. God bless that chick and that TikTok or whatever. But like, are people really like, oh, it's totally different now because instead of old Biden, we got young Kamala? I don't know. Only time will tell. I'm sure 20 crazy things will happen in like from now until the election. So I'm going to be patient, kind of take it all in, and I'll talk about more stuff later. First, I want to get into this theory that I saw going around Twitter and social media a lot. I'm not saying I necessarily believe it, but there is an interesting element to it that I wanted to bring up. Is some guy on Twitter. His name is like MJ Truth Ultra. He said, I told you, LOL, who's the tall, lanky guy playing Biden? Thank you, Lightmake49001 for pointing out the graphic or whatever. And they're showing that Biden's like a lot taller than Netanyahu, and it doesn't make sense because they're supposed to be 6 foot each. It could be the angle. It could be like where they're standing. If you stand in front or behind, you could look taller or smaller. But I do want to point out, Ian Carroll brought this up, how CIA or ex-CIA agents have been bragging on TED Talks and mainstream media about how, they have the technology to basically fake a person. So I'm not saying they're doing that with Biden. It's just interesting that this is going around social media now, and there is validity, at least to the idea that they would fake something. I don't know that they do the president, or they could, but worth a watch. Let's watch.
If you haven't already seen the footage of the CIA's ex-disguise chief talking on TED Talk stages and stuff about when she briefed President H.W. Bush in the White House Oval Office wearing one of these disguises and he didn't realize it.
They introduced us to a new concept. They said, what you are calling an operation, we call a performance. That's what we do. We put on performances. And before we start working on that performance, we have to define the stage that the performance is going to take place on. Then you have to know who your audience is. Who are you playing to? Who are you trying to fool? Then they showed us some tools that they used. The one that really caught our eye is what's called a stunt double mask. You all know how they're used. When the movie star is so famous or so good looking that they can't risk damaging him. We liked the idea of stunt double masks. They're quick on, they're quick off. They dramatically change your appearance. And we started using them and found them to be valuable to our operations. But that audience piece of it did not allow you to get close enough to one of those masks before the illusion fell apart and you saw it was a mask. So we went back to our disguise labs out at Langley and we invented a whole new genre of masks. Masks that are so good, that are so realistic, that you can actually get up close and have a personal contact with someone for an extended period of time. They're good enough that you can brief the President of the United States in the Oval Office wearing a mask. And he isn't sure if it's you or if it's someone else. Those masks were the beginning of a whole new generation of work that we did at the CIA.
Shout out to Ian Carroll for that video. Once again, I mean, it could be that one of them lied about their height. And, that happens sometimes in fighting too. The person says they're 6 foot, but they're really 6'3" or vice versa. It's just interesting that the CIA is saying, like, we do have the technology to do that. Shout out to Ian Carroll for doing all that journalism and research. Let me know what you think in the comments. I don't know what to believe anymore. I know Biden's old. I know they're replacing them. I know they did it right after Trump got shot and didn't die. It's all like very suspect. So I don't really have a huge stance or opinion on it, nor I'm not going to say I don't care, but it's like these people lie so much, it's hard to trust anything they say or do at all. Speaking of which, here's a video that just came out yesterday or today. I believe today, but I don't know, maybe yesterday, of Trump talking to Netanyahu, or at least greeting him at at Mar-a-Lago. And a lot of people noticed like the stance that they had and like the handshake. Trump like really like pulls him into him. A lot of people are interested in this type of stuff, like posture and body language online. So I'm just gonna play this real quick.
Got you the best part.
The greatest dinner I've ever had. Come on, let's get a good, beautiful. Please, let's make a.
I mean, it's what it is. It's just going viral now. I want to bring this up because Trump posted this on Truth Social. I thought it was very weird. I don't really get what he was saying, but Trump said on Truth Social, he said, if they do assassinate President Trump, which is always a possibility, I hope that America obliterates Iran, wipes it off the face of the earth. If it does not happen, American leaders will be considered gutless cowards. So he's basically like, yeah, they might kill me. And if they do, I want my death to be avenged by Iran, or like we need to attack Iran because of that. I don't know. You could let me know what you think in the comments, but I found that post to be very bizarre. And Trump, he kind of plays both sides. A lot of people are like, oh, he's mad at Netanyahu. He's mad that he endorsed Biden, and he's really gonna, put America first this time. And then he like says stuff like that. So I think personally, this is just my take. Politicians often play both sides. Like you'll look at, I think like Nancy Pelosi and a lot of these mainstream Democrats, they're like, Netanyahu, we need a 2-state solution. Even Ralph Nader, Jerry Nadler, I think his name is. He's like some big Democrat guy. And he's like, enough is enough. Like they talk this huge game to Israel and Netanyahu, but nothing ever happens. And then on the right, Trump is like super pro his side, but then he gets like mad or whatever. But then he's like, we need to fight Iran. To me, I know people don't want to hear this. I just feel like it's politics as usual because we have a dog in the race and people are going to vote for Trump and he's different and he's cool. I think a lot of people like to think that, he's really going to do something. Maybe, I don't know. Hopefully he prioritizes America and can find world peace. I'm hoping him the best, but I guess I just don't have very high expectations at this point, considering what I've seen in politics that, if something great happens, I'll be happily surprised and I'll be like, yeah, good job. But if it doesn't, I'm not going to be like, what? No way. We got tricked again. To me, it's just like, that's how it's been for a while. I'm going to read 2 more things. Then I'm just going to go off the comments for a bit. Gavin Newsom came out and he said that California is issuing an executive order to remove homeless encampments. I mean, I hope it works. Obviously, it's suspect timing. There's an election coming up. This is why competition's good in politics, because if they have no competition, they seem utterly uninterested in homelessness for the last 10 years. Gavin Newsom has failed miserably, as of most California politicians. So, I mean, obviously, I think this is a play for the election, but let's see how it works. I don't know. He's going to fund local governments to remove it, and he says he's giving them the resources. I can't wait to see what they do in LA and San Francisco. San Fran, I think it's a little easier. LA, there's so much homeless. Like, I don't even know how they'd get rid of it at this point, but I'm interested to see them try. Here's one last thing I saw that was like minorly interesting. It's not that interesting, but enough to make the video. Tucker Carlson dethrones Joe Rogan from atop the coveted Spotify podcast rankings. I think 2 things to note here. One, Spotify, I don't think it's as big as Apple Podcasts right now, but Spotify did a huge deal with Joe Rogan. So he's obviously like the king of Spotify. The fact that Tucker passed him, he left Fox News, he didn't miss a step. He's doing a lot of like edgy interviews and interesting stuff, and good for him. I mean, he's definitely bringing a lot to the table, a lot of interesting angles, and he's getting rewarded for it. So Bill O'Reilly did not do good after Fox News. Most people leave mainstream media and they do terribly. Tucker seems to have beaten the trend and, just crushing on the podcast circuit. So I'm going to read a few comments. Someone said Trump and Vance are going to push CBDC through Federal Reserve. He'll portray it as transaction freedom. It's a ploy for more control and censorship, said semi-successful. Possibly. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what they do. Just keep your eyes peeled and pay attention. Don't they're going to rile you up and be like, yeah, we're crushing. But pay attention and you could see if they're crushing or not. I think it'll be obvious if Trump and Vance are doing a good job. I thought of something funny the other day. If you think about like when Trump's email goes out, it's like Trump, Vance, and before it was like Trump, Pence. How funny would it be if like everyone's like, oh, I wonder why Trump picked Vance and Pence. And it's like Trump's just like, I like their name. Their names look good. Trump, Pence, Vance. It's like the same vibe, He's just going off of like aesthetics. Like he doesn't want some long like Ramaswamy or like Burgum. It's like, Vance, let's stick with the one syllable. Trump. I don't need my vice president upstaging me with multiple syllables trying to like, show off or anything. Let's just keep it simple. But I'm not saying that's what happened. I just thought it was funny in my head. Hopefully it translated. Let me see. There's like sound effects here. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, there you go. Somebody laughed in the background. Someone said Trump is all about surveillance. Along with Vance, he pushed biometric tracking ID. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Vance is kind of like Pence. Well, the last three letters are the same. So yeah, it's pretty close. Someone said you're the bones of policies. I don't know what that means, but thank you. I guess if that's a compliment, like the bones, like body bones, like you're the bones, or like the rapper Bones. Either way, let's move on. Let's see. Someone said plus Vance is young. I think he's the right choice. I'm not like, out of all the candidates, I think he was the best choice. Like I'd rather him than Rubio or Burgum and stuff. But, he's a politician. I said this in my last live stream, but if you're like just following them, you're always just going to be running in circles. Like you got to have your own ideas and then challenge them. And the politician will change, because if you're just like talking shit, like as an American citizen, you don't have like lobbyists and donors, and you're not like, Mitch McConnell's not looking over your shoulder. So you're allowed to like think on your own. These people are not what they pretend to be. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm going to probably vote for Trump and Pence. Obviously, I'm not voting for Kamala and whoever she chooses. I'm either going to vote for Trump or not vote. But at this point, I'll probably show up and vote down ballot all Republican. But I'm not disillusioned. Like I know, and I'm not trying to be rude, but I know because of the Trump situation, like everyone wants to be like, oh, this is going to mean, it's like, it's not always a fantasy, but maybe it can be. And like things can change and turn around, but people got to stop just like following trends of like what they're told to think, because the people leading these trends are often very compromised or in 50 different places where like you don't have to be. So there's no reason to be. Someone said RFK is being hyped on X. What do you think? He has no chance. It's like a fake campaign at this point. Like he's going to get like 10 to 15% of the vote. So I don't know why he's running. You'd have to ask RFK. Personally, I don't believe he's running to win. He could tell you that, but I don't believe that. Maybe he's trying to get his message out there. Maybe he's trying to influence politics, sell a book, put himself in a position to be something after the election. I'm not sure, but I don't buy that he's really, going to win personally. Someone said Vance had a Netflix movie made about him, so he's legit, homie. That's not a good sign. Meet the Vances. Vances. Meet the Vances. They're a politician just like you. Like, I'll pass. Thank you, Deb. I appreciate you. Someone said the fake cheers from Kamala's Hawk Tua Harris staffer. You calling her Hawk Tua now? That girl's like showing up everywhere. Like she's got some PR agent now, like the Hawk Tua girl. She's like, look, it's RFK and Hawk Tua. It's like, look, she's at your favorite country show. It's like, it doesn't need to be that way, but go get your money because it's not going to be around for long. So I get it. Blunt Talk said, I think Trump taking Vance as a VP is going to hurt him more than help. Everybody can speculate, but at the end of the day, if you want him to win, you got to show up and vote. And, that's what it is. I don't know who would help them more than like Vance or, they're always going to find something on the vice president and just try to destroy them and their character. So Vance, I mean, he's whatever to me. I don't think he's the worst pick. So I'm not like that upset about it. I guess I'm seeing it in this way too. It's like, it's not what I want it to be. It just is what it is. So I'm not going to like, in my head, it's like Thomas Massey's running the government from a military tank and like the federal reserve. It's like, yeah, but that's not happening. So, like everyone's like, I want Vivek to be vice president. Why? But also he's not vice president. So we all just got to like move on, or at least pay attention. And, I'm not saying to let him get away with anything, but everybody wants to fantasize what they wish it was in their head. Like now that he almost got killed, like now he's going to be based. Maybe he might, you never know with Trump. He's like a mystery. You never know what you're going to get. He's very unique. He's a character. That's why most of the world like revolves around loving or hating him, because he's like the main star. So, you get what you get with Trump. I guess you just got to play it by ear. Did I see Ben Carson on Tucker? No, I've been kind of tuning out politics. I apologize. I could talk a little bit about that too, but I took a little break and I'm probably going to do different stuff, but I was just going through the motions. I was having like minor health issues, I think from just stress and too much stuff. And, I've always just had like building things, like when I'm doing a video every day, I'm not doing business emails and this and that. And everything just kind of like burdened up for me. And I was like, I just want to chill and get my health back and feel good. And also it's like, I do a video where I'm not live and I kind of record it and edit it. And my last couple ones did really well. Of course, it's because Trump got shot. That's a huge part of it. But also, on Facebook, like people are actually like watching when I take my time and do like 6-7 minute videos that are edited. To me, I think that's the best. I like doing live streams sometimes, but it's a lot of work that goes into a live stream. And it's just like I've been doing so many. I just want to do other stuff, work on some music, work on some business, do some like short videos, and get my health like in a good place. So I feel cool. I feel good now, but it's just like, I don't know. When you're doing stuff for so long, it's like just taking a step back feels nice and reevaluating, because there's an old saying, and this doesn't just go for me, working hard is good, but like working smart is better. So like if you're working hard, you want to work smart. If you're working smart, maybe you don't have to work hard, but you don't want to work hard and not work smart, because then you're just like running in circles, like putting in all this extra effort and not really getting the rewards from it. So I've always been pretty smart, I think, but I think also my hard work is what has elevated me, because at times I haven't had the tools to work maybe as smart as I want to. So I always just defaulted to hard work, which is fine. But I'm just like doing things behind the scenes, because it's like if I get my ducks in a row, not literal ducks, ha ha ha, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's like if I get my ducks in a row, it'll make the process a lot more easy and fun for me. So it's all good. But do I believe in a coincidence? No. I mean, I guess sometimes, but like, I don't get what you're saying. You're trying to get me into the queue again. He said, shot her, or maybe it's a she. Shot heard around the world. Do you believe in coincidence? There are no coincidence. You spelled the coincidences without the S. I got it. The world is a stage. You're watching a movie. Enjoy the show. Did you see the cue when Trump got shot? If you slow it down, the bullet just turned into a Q, and then it yelled out at did you see? Like, you have to put it really slow. And then the bullet it grabbed the microphone from Trump and it said QAnon, and then it just disappeared. And no, I don't know. Never mind. But yeah, believe what you want. I don't care. How could Biden have met? Hold on. How could Biden have COVID and then met with Netanyahu? I don't believe anything anymore. It's like Biden's like, if I get sick, then I'm going to drop out. And then he's like, oh, I just got COVID like an hour later. It's like, sure, whatever people want to believe. I'm not the target audience for it, but whatever. Why does Kamala look like she's high? She might be. I don't know. I'm sure they got the good drugs in the White House, like to keep them going. I don't know what they're doing, to be honest, but to each their own. Someone said the weirdest thing about Butler was the real JFK shooter was there. I missed that one. The real JFK Jr. was there. Yeah, I don't think so. But anyway, did I hear about MrBeast's friend? Oh yeah, I was going to report on that too. I forgot. But that's an interesting thing. I mean, I don't have like the pull-ups, but there was, for those who don't know, MrBeast is like the most popular show on YouTube. I think it's like number one. It gets like hundreds of millions of views or whatever. And, MrBeast had this guy, I think his name was Chris or something. And it was like a man who had a wife and a kid. And then he decided to transition with a wife and a kid. And I don't know if they got divorced or whatever, but he still has a kid. And then he was going by the name Ava, and he was like, I'm trans. And, a lot of people online were loving it. A lot of people online were like, yo, what are you doing? Like, this is weird. You're influencing the kids. whatever. And then it turned out that he had to step down, or MrBeast fired him. I don't know what happened, but the Ava trans person ended up, I think, texting like a 13-year-old and getting caught, or something of that lines. Like, it's still being investigated, but it was so real that MrBeast came out and was like, I have nothing to do with Ava. So it's just pretty crazy, because everybody was like being like, oh, groomer. And then they always say like, oh, that's just hate speech, and you're just hating him because of his sexuality. And then it turned out that it was that. So really bad look for MrBeast, really bad look for Ava, really just bad in general. Like, definitely didn't prove the haters wrong there. Someone said, no way MrBeast never knew. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to accuse MrBeast of knowing, because if you have a staff of like 10 people, you don't necessarily know what they're doing in their spare time. You could have like a best friend that you don't even know what they're doing. So I I'm not saying MrBeast is right. Like, he definitely was shooting down, I would say, criticism. Like, no, this is fine. You're just being transphobic. So I'm not saying he looks bad. He looks good. He looks terrible. And it's going to affect his business, I'm sure. But I don't know that I would like blame him completely. Like, he had to know. It's like, not necessarily. Like, you could run a business and it doesn't mean you're like chilling with people 24/7. But that's just my honest opinion. But yeah, terrible look, just crazy shit. Aaron said, I personally think Vance is an establishment shill. I think he's definitely a politician. He'll play both sides. Now he's like the conservative, like pro-Trump guy. He used to be like a Romney guy. Just keep your eyes on him. Don't be that person that's like, oh, JD Vance, I need to get posters in my room of you. Oh, it's like, that's too much. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you want a JD Vance poster in your room, who am I to tell you not to? But like that, this is the line people need to draw. Vote, support, but you got to pay attention, because these people are professional, like financial prostitutes. They're taking like huge donor money to play a game. That's their job. That's what they're doing. You don't want to believe it, because you want to believe that they really care about you, sort of, but they're playing a different game. So just identify that, and then things could be okay. Someone said, do you know Tory Maris? If so, any opinion? Tory Maris, doesn't ring a bell. Sorry. What do I know about Peter Thiel? Only what people post on Twitter. I know he's super rich. I think he's gay. I think he's in tech. Some people are saying he's like does things for the intelligence communities with his companies. That's like the extent that I know. I don't know if that sounded ignorant or not, but I haven't done like a huge deep dive on Peter Thiel. I just know he's like super rich, funds a lot of Republicans, and does tech stuff. But yeah, I've seen the posts about it. Someone said Vance is like a deja vu Obama showing up out of thin air. Never heard of him before the shooting. Well, I've heard of him. I think Mike Johnson is like that. I never knew who Mike Johnson was before he took over the Republican Party in the House of Representatives. But JD Vance, he's been a thing, but he's just not that popular. Like, he's been like a side piece. Trump's like the main character. He's just like in the side trying to get attention. Like, I'm over here, Trump, pick me. Everyone's like, pick me, Trump. It's like, pick me, daddy. Let me speak at the Trump rally. Please, I want to be the new Vivek Ramaswamy. I want to be the pharma billionaire that cried on January 6th. That's ultra MAGA. Pick me, daddy. And then Trump's like, you're all fat and ugly. I hate you. I hate you. I like your last name, Pence. Vance, it sounds cool. You pet JD Vance, come on. And then he's like, oh, he picked me. Oh my God. Let me speak at the RNC next to Charlie Kirk, please. I want to be like Amber Rose, on Twitter selling freaking, like it's Bitcoin jump offs. Like it's like Caitlyn Jenner and Amber Rose. I noticed they're selling like these little shit coins, like, which I call them, they're like coins, but they're not Bitcoin. They're like little coins they made up. It's like Jenner coin or something. I don't know. It's not literally Jenner coin, but it's like, to me, that's the lowest of the low. God bless these people. Listen, we all do our own thing, but like, I just feel like as a celebrity or somebody of influence, like selling a made up coin, like at this point, it's not the play. But to each, everyone's like, oh, I got this coin. Okay. And then you end up in like a lawsuit and you owe everybody money or something. But I don't know. Who am I to judge? Someone said Whitney Webb has a great article on JD. She seems like a good journalist. I would trust her article. Yeah, I mean, here's what I wanted to say too, because I had like a little something, but there's a debate going on in the party right now where people are like, should we be super conservative, or should we just like allow anybody to do whatever? And with Amber Rose, it's like, I think she's a nice lady. Here's my thing though, it's like she's on her Twitter, like it's like Trump hat, and then she's selling some like coin, so it's like a sale, and then she's got the OnlyFans, whatever, to each their own. But it's like, are you really doing this to do it, or are you just using this as a huge platform to sell your like coin and your OnlyFans page? I don't know. I can't get into her heart and mind, and I'm not sitting here trying to be like a judge with a gavel, but I get both sides of the argument. Because on one hand, I thought of this today. It's like, if you had a knot that was like triple knotted, you can't act like it's just single knotted. Like you've ever had like one of those knots that's so big that you either got to like cut the whole thing off, or you got to like take 20 minutes to try to like slowly do it. That's America right now. So sometimes if you come out just like banging like, oh, this is what we think, well, America is triple knotted. So that message doesn't make sense to most people. So I understand why they're trying to like dumb it down and water it down to try to get more people on board. Because the truth is, like, like we don't come from a country where like everybody was raised from a proper family and everybody like grew up with the right mindset. Like that's not the country we're in. So we have to be realistic and be like, a lot of people are broken. A lot of people are lost. A lot of people are cat ladies that are going to be miserable, but they want to make TikToks about it. And I'm not saying you have to pander to them. It's just, I'm just speaking out loud. This is my podcast. I get to say what I want. I get that side where it's like, you want to do something to like bring people in. But at the same time, it's like, if you do it wrong, you just become the Democrat Party. Like, imagine if you're just like, I'm against abortions, but I'm just going to do abortions and I'm just going to leave the border open because I don't want to offend the Mexicans or whatever. Then you just become them anyway. So it's like, that's why a lot of people are pissed at it, because it's like the Republicans are trying so hard to like be cool, but then they just end up becoming the Democrats. Me personally, I think like you got to be true to yourself. Like if you're that person, then be that person. If you're hardline, then be hardline. But in general, when it's true to who you are, it'll resonate, whether you're hardcore or you're being compassionate. And when you're being fake, everybody will be able to tell. So, everybody's got to play their role. But to me, the Republican Party constantly just like dumbs down their message, but like not even in a cool way. Like they think it's cool, but it's not even cool. So it's like, if you're going to be not cool, just be not cool and do the right thing. If you're going to be cool, then be cool and get people on our side. The Republicans are just like so boring and stiff and lame. And they're like, we're being cool. And it's like, no, you're just selling out your own voters while being like cringe as hell. Like Kamala's cringe, but she's less cringe than you maybe in comparison. That's why it's like, it's Trump world. Because like Trump is the coolest thing about Republicans. Without Trump, there's literally like nothing there. Like, I'm not trying to be rude once again, but it's like, it's so not cool that after Trump, people are like, Vivek is next. Why is Vivek next? Because everybody's so lame that Vivek looks like he's like Tom Cruise in an action movie compared to these other dweebs and losers in the Republican Party, where it's like, I can identify as someone that's honest that Vivek is like smarter and a better speaker than most people in the Republican Party. But to me, it's like, I don't even believe it or trust it. But it's like, yeah, I guess like next to Mitch McConnell, he looks like Michael Jordan. You put him next to Mike Johnson, he looks like freaking Magic Johnson, in the 90s or whatever. It's like the party's just so stale. It's like it's Trump's world. And then everybody's just begging for scraps after, trying to see like where they fit in or what they're going to be able to do with it. But, I don't know what the solution is. I get they're trying to like get their message to people, because at one hand, like, you make those videos where you're like, oh, you're all cat ladies, and they're like, damn right, I'm a cat lady, and you're like, all right, shit, we just pissed off all the cat ladies. It's like, I don't know what the right answer is, but it's like, nowadays there are way more single women over 35 than there used to be. Like, Republican and Democrat, but mostly probably Democrat at this point, like statistically probably at least like 70 to 80% and 20% Republican. But in general, it's like, I could make jokes. I could say things. I'm just not running for president. So the stakes are pretty low for my show. When you're like the vice president or president, what do you say? You say the truth. Everybody gets offended. You make a joke. Everybody hates it. You piss off a whole demographic and they're like, yeah, I am pissed off. I am going to vote the other way. I am trying to take over the country. It's like, all right, so I hope Trump wins. I just don't know. Like, I can't tell. I guess I'll say this too. Like when things were boring before Trump got shot, and I'm just saying like things were boring for like months before that happened. Then it's like, holy shit, like this is crazy. And then the news is like, But anyway, before that, like, I knew something would come up. So it's like, what's your opinion? Like, my opinion is like Trump's bleeding, but like they know they have all the data, like both parties do. Like they talked about Cambridge Analytica and like Steve Bannon. That was their way of pretending like Republicans are doing all the data corruption. And it's like they all do it. All the social media companies, the Democrats, like you're an idiot if you have billions of dollars. Like if I had billions of dollars, I'd probably be doing more data research as well. I just don't care that much. But in general, it's like they know Biden's dead in the water. So, they knew after like Trump didn't die, they're like, oh, I guess we got to change the candidate and switch the vibe. And overnight, they switched the vibe and they switched the candidate and they switched the mentality and they switched the numbers. And then they're probably going to do something else where the numbers switch again. So I think Trump should win. I think he's, doing well, but there's going to be that one moment. What is it? July 26th, like in September, October, that's going to like shift the polls. There's going to be some sort of moment where it's like, look at this racist, or, oh my gosh, doesn't this remind you of Donald Trump? Or I'm a brat just like you. Ha ha ha. Kamala, baby. Like, I don't know what the stupid psyop's going to be because I don't fall for it. It's so obvious to me, but it's not about me, And I think that's a difference between myself and some people is like everybody's like my opinion, everyone thinks like me, or they should, and we're growing in numbers. And it's like, sure, I think like Trump seems more popular than he was 4 years ago. He seems more mainstream, more celebrities seem to like him, more people seem to care about him. But at the same time, it's like, how many people are dumb? How many people am I not communicating with? How many people do I just purposely ignore? There's entire parts of the country that I purposely ignore because I'm like, that's a shithole. I don't want to go there. But that shithole has 15 million votes or 5 million votes or 2 million votes or whatever, So it's like, you never know. I think Trump should win. I hope he wins. But I know Democrats are going to have tricks up their sleeve to try to, fidget the numbers when it comes to like data analytics to just get people on their side. They just need a little bit of the white male or the female, or you know what I'm saying, or the Hispanic. Like that's the game these politicians are playing. They're trying to swing these numbers like 5%, in my opinion. But someone said literally only old people were at the Iowa caucus. Yeah, the boomers know what they're doing. Like when it comes to like politics, like Democrat boomers, they definitely run the Democratic Party. Like all these young, like people are like AOC. It's like, dude, she has no power. Like, oh, Ilhan Omar is so, hateful. It's like, yeah, her and 3 people like that, like they try to, Republicans fundraise off that. Like, look how radical the Democrats are. The voters are. The politicians sort of are, but the boomers are just like playing this role of like, should we do this? Should we do that? And then like, the young people are just like there to, vote for them. It's like, oh, do you want Donald Trump? And all the kids go, no. And then they just vote for like Kamala or something. I don't know. Someone said, doesn't matter if you voted for the other guy. By voting, you give consent for the whole stinking system. Yeah, I get that like whole anarchist like point of view. It's like, I don't vote. I'm not participating, but it's like, it's happening anyway. So I don't know that I fully agree, but if you want to not vote and you feel like you're crushing the system, to each their own. Let's see. Someone said this DI crap has to go. I think it's like slowly on its way out. Like I think it's starting to have a little backlash and not work, but I don't know. I mean, all I could do is embrace the present moment and try to be the best version of myself I could be. I don't know like where this country's going. I keep seeing Elon Musk tweet that America's bankrupt, and it's kind of creeping me out. He just keeps saying like, America's bankrupt, by the way, it's going bankrupt. It's like, what do you mean by that? Like, are we going to close down or, because I kind of live here. So I need to know what you guys mean by that. The debt is like unsustainable, but like, what do they do? Do they move a computer board 0 over and just balance the debt? Do they never pay it? Do they just like fold America inwards and be like, oh, well, that's a failed experiment? I don't know what's coming, but like, it's not going to be boring. That's for sure. Someone said Netanyahu owns Congress. That is the most anti-Semitic thing I've ever heard. Gosh darn it. All this hate speech flowing around. That's borderline possibly maybe true, but definitely hateful for sure. No, I don't know. But they gave him a lot of round of applauses for sure. I think he broke a record of like, standing ovations. He's like, hey, America. And everyone just gets up right away. It's like, all right, well, wait till he says something, but whatever. Someone said, thank you for standing up, Anomaly. Well, I'm sitting down right now, but I appreciate it. You know, sometimes you could stand up and sit down at the same time. You know what I mean? Anyway, someone said, I'm surprised, Anomaly, that you haven't made the move to Florida yet. I mean, like everyone, I've considered it, but I don't know. What's the good part of Florida? I feel like it's getting crowded, you know? It's getting crowded with all these darn Americans. Just kidding. Let's see. Here's a thing everyone uses. Trump has said historically, as that's what he's going to do as an anti-gun. He's surveillance guy. I think people just got to pay attention because, like, if you just leave it up to like Trump, like the people, I'm not trying to be rude, but like the worst people are like, they're like, oh, he's got a plan. And it's like, now you're not part of the plan. But if you like voice your opinion and you're like Trump loves to be loved and he's very loved, right, among his people. So if he starts feeling weird about being like a sneaky guy, he'll like change sometimes because he doesn't want, like, you know, he's got cool people around him and he's got bad people around him. So the best you could do is be like, hey, Trump, I like you, but this is totally whack and you're lame, you know? And then Trump will be like, I'm lame? No, I don't want to be lame. But if you're just like, oh, yeah, he's beating up the deep state by funding the deep state, or like he's spying for the, you know, because he's going to spy on freaking John Legend's, like, you know, secret cave. And, you know, it's like you just like make up a theory in your head to justify why he's selling vaccines to beat big pharma. It's like, how is selling vaccines for big pharma and funding big pharma and hiring big pharma hurting big pharma? Like, it doesn't exist. But that's like, people get so lost in the sauce. Like Trump, he's worth a vote. He's worth a hat, a purchase. You know what I'm saying? He's worth a rally if you want to go, but it's not like, you got to stop doing that shit. It's like, it doesn't work that way. So, you know, I don't know. Like when those type of people are just like not really helpful in my opinion, but maybe they are in their own way. You know, they're summoning the underground sewers of, you know, legions of Ninja Turtles to come fight, you know, the Maxine Waters or something. I don't know. I'm just making shit up. Do I have any idea why people are saying Trump's the Antichrist? Yeah, for sure. People want to speculate who the Antichrist is, so it's obviously going to be someone powerful. I've heard people say it's Trump. I've heard people say it's Bill Gates. I've heard people say it's Elon. I've heard people say it's Jared Kushner. Like, everybody wants to play, you know, Bible and try to figure out who it is. Me personally, I don't think it's my role. So I just sit back until I have enough info. So, you know, the reason people think Trump is the Antichrist is because he's powerful. He's well loved. He's got a lot of support, but also he does a lot of suspect things, you know, sometimes at the last second to make people think that he's that. I wouldn't say he's that, but you know, I don't know. I don't like to pretend like I know who people are in the Bible. Like, you know, people will be like, oh, this is this. It's like, maybe, you know, maybe, but maybe not, you know, and maybe you're just wrong. I don't know. Someone said, I think it's Obama. Yeah, everyone has an idea, but it's like, it's all speculation. So I don't really take it that seriously. Someone said, I love the live chat. Well, glad somebody likes it because I hate you guys. No, I'm just kidding. It's just weird. After I don't do a live for a while, I like feel weird. Like, you know, it's just like a weird vibe. Like, this happens when I go on vacation sometimes too. Someone said, I'd love to hear an intelligent response for her instead of creepy giggling. Well, she's not the smartest person, you know. She's not the smartest person. She's not the, you know, she's not, you're not going to get that. Like, it would be like going to, you know, a clown show and asking why they had paint on their face. Like, it's just what they do, you know. Or going to like a roller coaster, like a theme park, and be like, why are there so many roller coasters here? It's like, that's who Kamala Harris is. She's not, I don't know, insert famous smart person here, but I don't even want to like name a smart person as a joke because like all the people that they told me were smart, like in history, are usually psyops. So, you know, they're like, oh, smart is this person. And it's like who they want you to think was smart, but was really sneaky. So you get it. Name a smart person. They'll be like, Jordan Peterson's the smartest person in the world. It's like, yeah, for sure. So smart, you know? I don't know. I don't like his suits, but I guess it's better than Kamala. Someone said Janet Yellen says she doesn't see another financial crisis in our lifetime. There's a lot of things I could say about Janet Yellen, and only half of them would not get me suspended. No, I'm just kidding. But I want to make a joke about her, but I don't know if it's going to be considered hate speech because of her, sexual preference or state of origin or whatever you want to call it. But she's like, an interesting character, let's just say. She's like, I don't see why we can't fund Ukraine and Israel at the same time. I mean, I don't even get why people are so upset. And you're like, well, I don't know. We're like tens of trillions of dollars in debt, and people can't afford gas and groceries, and everybody's like more poor than they used to. I don't know. There's just like one idea that just came to my head. You never thought of that, Janet Yellen? She's like, well, I've been like, never mind. There's a lot of things I want to say. I mean, what does she look like to you? Let's just put it that way. Anyway, someone said Trump gets shot and 50 Cent starts trending. Yeah, I saw that. She said inflation was fleeting. She's like, I don't see why we can't give the money to Ukraine and Israel. We can fund two wars and be great. Okay, banker lady, whatever you say, for sure. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Let's just give them the money for sure. Yeah, why not? I mean, we don't need it. It's not like our airports suck, all our roads are shit, and crime's out of control. Yeah, and the border's wide open. Yeah, we definitely don't need it. Yeah, give it to Zelensky and call it hate speech if anybody disagrees. That's a fun one. I've never heard that one before. Someone said a report on the fake blood photo. I don't know. Photo op. You talking about the ear thing? There's a lot of ear theories. I don't know. I just saw the Trump's doctor, like Ronnie Jackson or whatever. He put out a statement saying, Trump, he agrees after seeing all the stuff from the hospital that Trump did get shot. And he's mad at Christopher Wray for saying that Trump didn't or whatever. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what happened. I mean, but I'm also not going to like shit on you. Like some people are like, if you don't agree with me, you're a piece of shit, And everybody's so fake. This is why I don't even like care about politics that much anymore. Cause it's like, everybody's so fake. It's like the left acts crazy. And then the right's like, how dare you do that for a sitting president? But a lot of people on the right would do the same shit if the roles were reversed. And then it's like, if Joe Biden got freaking shot in the ear and now he's like a hero being like, fight, fight, fight. Everybody would be like, yeah, that shit's fake on the right. And then the left would be like, oh, geez, I can't believe you said it was fake. I mean, the democracy's at stake. So it's like, at least just call a spade a spade. Like, I respect people that are like, yeah, I'm a little fucking wild. Yeah, I'm biased. Yeah, I would think it this way, but I would say it the same thing the other way. And I'll admit it. It's hard for me to like listen to anybody when they're like, I'm so appalled that you did what I would have done. It's like, and the people on the right that get the most mad at it are like the same people on the left that get the most mad at it. Like they attract each other and they just fight with each other and they're like just all annoying. So it's like, I think the Trump shooting was real, but it's like, I don't know, if Joe Biden got shot in the ear, you're telling me that 90% of my timeline would have been like, yo, that shit's for sure fake, cause like, and then if like Biden got up and he's like, fight, I would have been like, I don't know about this shit, and then they would have made MAGA look bad because the shooter probably would have been some fucking MAGA. Like, I don't know. It's just all like so like draining, but like circular as well. It's like going in a circle. They're like, can you believe this freaking hate speech? It's another thing too. Like, Elon Musk, this is something that like annoys me about him now. He was called anti-Semitic like 100 times by dozens of media corporations. He almost lost his whole, he was like saying that he might lose X over the accusations of anti-Semitism and all this stuff, right? So Elon Musk, who's pretty straightforward, he gets called and smeared as anti-Semitic like 1,000 times, and they almost ruin his business and ruin his career. Okay. Wouldn't you then just not call everybody else anti-Semitic because you've seen how it's weaponized against you? Now he's Netanyahu's guest at Congress being like, the Democratic Party has a huge problem with anti-Semitism. It's like, they'll say you have a problem with anti-Semitism. Like, why don't you just say what they're doing wrong without using that word? Because that word gets weaponized against you. Now, the next time they do it against Elon, it's hard for me to care because he's the same skeezy hypocrite just like everybody else. It's like, say Ilhan Omar's an idiot. Say she sucks at this. Say she's wrong. Say, burning American flags is ridiculous and un-American and disgraceful. And, call out all the bullshit that the progressive left does and Ilhan Omar, etc. But if your only thing you could say is like, you're you're the same hate speech word that they called me, then you don't even know, you're just another phony, in my opinion, you know? Like if I say why I don't like something, I'm not going to just use a word like, oh, I don't like her because she's racist. And oh, the conversation over, I win. Like explain what she's saying wrong and why, because that word doesn't even mean anything anymore because it's so misused. Like they'll say everything's racist. The border wall's racist. Being white is racist. Like, so stop feeding into the system. You're the real racist. Yeah, I've heard that 100 times. You're the real anti-Semite. Sure, whatever. You know, that's what they say. Like, just say the truth, speak the truth, and don't play these little games that they play against you. Because in 5 months, they're going to play it against Elon again, and he's going to be like, not me, but them. It's like, yeah, whatever, you know? Someone said deport Elon. No, he's done a lot of good stuff. I wouldn't deport him. I think he's a good American. It's just, you know, I would deport Jordan Peterson though, for sure. I mean, Elon Musk should stay for sure. I think he's a good American. I like him. Jordan Peterson should definitely be relegated to like Zoom calls in Toronto or something, because he gets to America, he wears his funky shirts and then falls for like gun control propaganda. And I don't know. It's just like, learn the rules of America before you come here. Elon did it pretty well. But whatever. Someone said Elon loves Baphomet. It's a little odd. Yeah, he's into that like costume stuff. But I don't know. There's Christian. I'm not making excuses for Elon, but there's Christian women that are like, I love Christ every day of the year, and then they dress up as the devil for, you know, Halloween, and they're like, look, I'm a devil. So I mean, that's kind of what he did. I think he wore it for Halloween. I'm not saying you have to like it, but I've seen Christian chicks do that. And I'm like, I don't know. It's a little evil. It's getting a little evil out here. But someone said, if I don't like someone, it doesn't have anything to do with politics. Yeah. But sometimes people's politics are so shitty that you end up hating them, you know? But sometimes people might agree with you, but they're so damn annoying. Like you might have someone at a dinner that like you kind of agree with, but they're so cringe that you're like, yo, I don't like you, even though I agree with what you're saying. You're just annoying. Yeah, I've seen it both ways. What's wrong with Jordan Peterson? Where do I start? No, I'm just kidding. But I don't want to get into it now, but I don't like him. But you can. I understand that's unpopular. Everybody likes him. When I was taking a break, I think like his daughter was getting mad because she was getting ratioed on Twitter. And she was like, I think Twitter needs to censor more because I'm getting ratioed by Nazis and anti-Semites. And it's like, isn't like your whole career, like, you know, all these right wingers make a career like free speech. The left is trying to take away our free speech. And then the second they get ratioed on a post, they start crying and trying to censor the internet because they can't win a discussion on Twitter, which censors less than the other social platforms. So it's like, you know, I don't know. Just like, it's just all so cringe, but it's like fake opposition shit, but whatever. I mean, I'm not gonna like, you know, everybody has a right to be wrong or whatever, but I don't like Jordan Peterson. Have I heard of the Everything app? No. Sounds overwhelming. I want the Nothing app. I want to delete all my apps. Have I tried to eat nothing but beef for a few days? Sure. For like a year? No. Thank you, Robin. I appreciate it. I'll do shows and stuff. I just like, I don't know. I'm not going to do a show every single day. Like it just took up too much time, and like the pros and cons of it weren't really there. So I'd rather do a show once in a while, have it be great, have people appreciate it. Cause like, you know, this is another thing too. There were a lot of things that went into it. First of all was my health. I was getting so stressed that my like resting heart rate was super high, because outside of this, I had like 15 things building up that I was never getting to. So it was just stressing me out. Got rid of that, solved that problem. Not a big deal. Outside of that, it's also like things always change. And I don't really talk about business that much. Like I'll talk a little things, but I don't talk like specifics and numbers that often. But, you know, I've only done this for 5 or 6 years now. Like I've made my living doing videos and posting. And there's been 6 times I've had to evolve, right? Like things have not been the same since I started. Like I was crushing on the videos, then they take it away, then they censor you, then they block this, then they block that, then Patreon, then people leave because they censor this person, whatever. It's been a lot of cycles. And recently, like I personally believe that social media is doing what Spotify did to artists. And I'm not complaining. It's just true. At first, Spotify got everybody on Spotify because almost everyone uses Spotify or Apple Music. And it's like, hey, we're going to pay you this much per stream. And then that number got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller to the point where you can't do anything about it because Spotify is everything. Like social media is kind of like, they're like, here, upload a video that's like rectangle and get 300,000 views, but we'll pay you $10 for it instead of like 300. So it's like, they finessed a way to make more money by basically paying people less and funneling the traffic through resources that don't really like give back. So it's like you have to kind of change your business model to stay afloat. And if you notice, like if you watch Candace Owens or Theo Vaughn or Joe Rogan or pretty much anybody at this point, they're all running a bunch of sponsors. Why? It's a way to make money. Some sponsors can pay you a couple thousand. If you're a big star, 5,000, 10,000, you might make 15,000. So it's like you're watching these people do a show. They might be making $50,000 an episode through the sponsors. Through YouTube or Facebook, they're probably only making a couple $100, but through the sponsors, they're probably making tens of thousands of dollars. So, I've never done sponsors. I've done my own shop. It's gone well. I'll do sponsors here or there, but it gets to the point now where it's like I'm doing all this work and running in circles, doing live stream every day. I have no time to do the other stuff. Like I don't have a team of 20 people. So it's like I'm not doing the business that I should be doing outside of my videos because I'm spending all the time on my videos. It's no problem. I'm not complaining, but it's like it got to a point where I was like, I got to fall back, take a couple of weeks off, do my other business, etc. And then when I relaunch, it's like I could, have a business model where I could do better videos, higher quality videos, do less and still make more and keep my business doing well. I'm fine. Like this is the thing too. Like I don't want to, I don't like to get into too much stuff because I don't think it's appropriate, but also I'm not like crying for help saying like, oh, my business is suffering. It's really not. Like this is at the point now, I could just post memes and make like more than I used to make 4 or 5 months ago, just posting like memes on Facebook. Like they pay for memes now. Twitter, I took a break because I just don't care that much, but it's like I can make a couple $1,000s just on Twitter. So it's like I could take a break and be posting a little bit and still make a lot of money and like keep my business going. So it's not like I'm suffering so bad that I need to like do something else. I'm doing fine. I've worked this hard in order to eventually take this time off. Like for the last 4 years, like when I'm bored, I do a video. When I have nothing to do, I do a video. If I'm lonely, I do a video because it's good. Like, why wouldn't I do it? It's like, it's fun. It's easy. It's personable. I'm good at it. So I've been like working super hard knowing like, I'm like just putting my head down, going. Like I knew there was going to be a time where I had to like chill out for a second. And this just happened to be that time. It's not bad, but it's like, this is why I worked so hard for the last 4 or 5 years. To be able to make these moves like this, and be able to be like, if I needed to, I could do this and still make money and still move my business around. So it's more of a move like that. And also on top of the physical health stuff that I've been, just making sure was okay. It's like the mental aspect of it too. Like, for example, like Twitter. Okay. What is Twitter? Twitter's a place where I type things or I post things and then people respond under it. Do I really want to do that at this point in my life? Like I've already seen like every day I post, like say a normal day for me, if I post just on Facebook or whatever, I'm getting probably over 5,000 comments. I can't read them all. So it's like, what is this platform? I mean, this sounds trippy because it's like really like meta thinking outside of the box, but it's like, Twitter's a place where I say something like, here's the opinion I probably said 1,000 times, and then everybody responds to it. And it's just like, I don't need that in my life. Like, what am I doing it for? For reach, for importance, for social clout, for activism? Like you go through all these things, like now that they pay, it's like, what are they paying? And all these platforms, like they try to like reel you in now where it's like, we want your attention, give us fucking 60 hours and we'll pay you $2,000 or just like any other job. So it's like, I'm just trying to free myself from all of that and really think about it because it's like I'm starting to do well on Twitter where I'm posting more and I'm like, oh, I'm getting a couple thousand. And it's like, yeah, but it's like, how much time am I doing to get that? And like, is it just Twitter kind of playing me, getting me to use their platform more so they can make more money off me? And could I make that money somewhere else doing something better and more meaningful where I don't even have to do that? So it's like, I don't even feel like I want to go back to Twitter. Like, I think it's an interesting platform. It's necessary. I think it's like, it's a good place to get the news, but it's like, this is just a world I don't want to be in. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been online for so long and I'm so grateful and it's allowed me to do so many cool stuff in my life and I would never change it for the world. But it's like, you could tell yourself, I'm on Twitter. I'm an activist, I'm helping so much. And it's like, if you're on Twitter 5 hours a day, you're living in Twitter. Like, you're at Twitter more than the gym. You're at Twitter more than you talk to your family. You're at Twitter more than you do anything. Like, your reality is Twitter. You're living in Twitter, and it's not a great place to live. It's just too much going on. It's like everyone can say anything at any time, which is cool, but it's also like just stressful. It's just too much. Like, it's not enjoyable. It's not like being at a picnic with your friends or being on vacation with your family, or it's just like a world where everyone's just shouting all the time their political opinions in loop. And then I personally believe too that we talk about how the left is brainwashed all the time, because they are brainwashed, and it's I don't need to even tell my audience how the left is brainwashed, because we probably talked about it 100 times, and so is every other Republican platform. But what you won't hear, at least from someone on our side, is that even Republicans are getting brainwashed, because it's like this thing where, if you're just reading cat turd on a loop every day, like, that's your reality, and you might think that you're fighting the good fight against the deep state or whatever, and you might be right about a lot of your opinions, but it's like you're being brainwashed because your world is this social media loop of the same 10 influencers saying the same things, and they all say the same things, and a lot of times they're right, and sometimes they're all wrong, but it fits into your bias, so you just believe it's true. Like when everyone said, oh, Trump pushed the vaccine to rush the world against lockdowns for 4 years. Like, that doesn't actually make any sense. And people on my own side on podcasts, they never heard someone challenge it, because everyone just goes along with it. Like, I like this guy, so because I like this guy, it must mean that he's doing this for the right reason. So now I have to make up a theory for why it's good, even though reality says it's not good. Like, you're brainwashed. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's an echo chamber that's conditioning people. And, these are, I think my health thing, like me getting too stressed with my heart rate and stuff, was a blessing in disguise. I'm super, in a weird way, grateful for it, because I'm fine now and my heart rate's fine. I'm a healthy guy. But in general, it's like, it was a sign where it's like, you're doing too much. You're posting 50 times a day on 50 different platforms. You're trying to stay afloat. You're running a business by yourself. You're trying to do deals to the side. You're letting this person be your manager. This person's doing this. This person's asking me to do this show in person. Now I have an issue with my landlord and my living situation that I have to deal with. And I have all these things going on. And instead of just like sleeping, I'm just trying to like stay up to keep doing stuff. I stopped drinking coffee till I feel better. Like, I was having like just super anxiety issues I've never had, but I noticed that it's all gone away since I started sleeping and just acting a little more right. But it's like, when you got 50 things to do each day, it's like, what, like, I got to do something. So that's like, I got to drink coffee. I got to stay up. And then, like, I don't think I really slept good for like a whole year, just trying to get everything done, in general. And, this last year I've been going to the gym more and stuff. And like, I know my face looks a little fatter. People said I got fat, but I'm also getting like a lot stronger. Like, my arms, my back is super strong. Like, I'm a big guy. But I in general, it's like, when I'm doing 50 million things too, it's like, I got to not do something. Either I not do something, or I got to, do something to stay up and have the energy. When I don't, my body doesn't really have the energy. But it's one of those things too, where, I don't think social media is what it was. And I don't think people want to like think about it, because thinking about it means you have to change your life and what you think about other people. And it's hard to have self-reflection. But it's like, when social media started, it was super fun. When it came out in like 2015 and 2016, it was like people fighting the system. And then, over the course of time, they started censoring people. COVID was like obvious that, people were fighting back against. But then now it's like, from 2020 to 2024, it's changed in a lot of ways, not just the Instagram reels and the TikToks. That's a big thing. It's gone through like algorithm changes, but also I feel like people have just gotten super comfortable. And I've talked about this a lot, and I'm not trying to compare, because at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason and everyone's not supposed to be the same. But it's like, most Republicans tune into people that are basically like just professional celebrities now, where they're not that honest. They're just like, I'm a gun-toting patriot. You could think, when I do this impression, you could probably think of 20 different people, because they're all the same. They're like, I love the Second and First Amendment, and I love Trump, and that's why you should trust me, because I'm a badass man who speaks out about the truth about the left and the gay. And it's like, yeah, no, someone's got to do that. I'm not saying it's bad, because it's like, everyone sees it, and you rather listen to that person than a liberal. Like, you'd rather listen to Dan Bongino than Joy Reid. So would I. But at the same time, it's like, people don't realize, like, a lot of this shit's just going in circles, you know? And it's like the people that are pushing it, they don't care if it goes in circles because they're making millions of dollars. So the more it goes in circles, the more they make money. You know what I'm saying? Which I understand it's a business model, but at the end of the day, it's just like a politician. Like, so many people want to believe their favorite Republicans are ethical people who are just trying to fight the deep state. But in reality, they're taking lobbying money, they're taking foreign money, they're compromised, and they're playing the role of a guy like myself, or they're playing the role of a person like you who really cares about the country. And that's the role they're playing, and that's why they get the money. They're the best actor in Congress. And the more they can convince you that they're that, the more money they could get to not do it, but still get elected. That's the game that we're seeing. That's politics, and that's now in the industry. It's always been in the industry. It's only better now, but it's like it didn't completely go away. And that's what's going on. But what I realized is like people don't want to hear that, you know, and they don't see that. So they're getting just tricked and fooled. And then it becomes this sort of thing where it's like, you know, how much do you want to, like, what's the point? You know, like you could tell certain people that want to listen. I do my job. People like it. I'm grateful. But it's like a personal choice too, where it's like, you know, what am I doing? Is it important? Why am I doing it? Do I like it? Is it healthy for me? You know, is this like sustainable? And these are just things I've been thinking about, because it's like, you know, I'm super happy in this world. I'm so grateful the way things turned out, because I don't know what else I would have done. Like, I can't picture things going the other way. And like, I haven't even really gotten into my full story. I've told people a lot of stuff on my show, but like, I took a lot of leaps of faith in my life, just pursuing music. And like, I like went for it. And I'm so grateful that things turned out this way, because like I did well, you know. But it's like moving forward, like, do I want to do this forever? Do I like Twitter? Every day I log into Twitter, it's just people fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like, this person's beefing with this person, this person's beefing with this person. To be honest, I just don't give a shit about any of these people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to help the country. I want to live a good life, right? I want to be of service to my country and to my people. And with that being said, like, I don't give a shit about this person beefing with that person, or this person's talking shit. Like, that's now like the industry. Like, everybody's like talking shit to each other. And it's like, if I just turn off this website, I don't even see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't even exist to me, because I don't have to look at it all the time. And like, that's kind of the angle I've been seeing stuff at too, is like, you know, like, social media is kind of like what you make of it. It's the reality you live in, or it doesn't exist at all. And it's like, you know, if you disappear, the same shit's going to be going on, and you turn it back on 7 days later, like, and then that's going on. I mean, I was trying to take a break because I was like getting over some situations, and you know, Trump got shot, and I'm like, I'm no bitch, excuse my language. I'm not a bitch. I'm not going to sit out of the Trump assassination attempt. Like, I'm not that fucking you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that serious that I take a break right now. So you know, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, can you come back to do this? And I'm like, hell yeah, I'll come back. I'm not going to miss out on this, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's also not to say it's obviously a terrible thing. It is a terrible thing, but I'm just saying in general, it's like, I'm bored by most, like, you know, like, everybody just has to pretend like they give a shit about everything, because that's their business model. Make 7 videos a week, make 7 times as much money. Have 20 sponsors, make 20 times as much money. So it's like, but I just can't lie to you. Like, everything I've done, and this is why I've been so successful, this is why I've got billions of views, it comes from real inspiration. Like, I can't fake it. Like, I gotta really care. Then I can spend 15 hours on a video. If I don't, like, during COVID, you didn't have to tell me twice. The money was awesome, and I'm appreciative, but I would have done it for free because I had nothing else to do. And that's all I cared about. You know, I was like, this is crazy. You don't have to tell me to, like, I'll work straight for a year, because this is so crazy, and I understand it. And a lot of people can't see it. But before Trump got shot, it's just like everything's fucking boring, you know, and everyone's just like, oh, and everyone's just being so fake. And I don't care. You know, once the Trump things happen, it's like, that's crazy. Now, you know, I got to come for my country, where it's like, what happened? Did someone try to kill him? To me, that seems like the most plausible theory, that someone tried to kill him. And personally, I don't believe that it was just like a lone thing, because it's like, as soon as Trump didn't die, then it's like, oh, it almost felt like Biden getting taken out was like a plan B. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, Trump's alive, I guess we got to switch candidates now. And I'm not saying that's necessarily true, but I'm not the only one thinking it. You know, there's mainstream comedians and athletes saying it on their podcasts too. Like, everybody kind of thinks it. And then there's some people who think it's fake. And I understand why they think it's fake, because it was almost like too perfect of a photo op, like fight, fight, fight. Like, it's a movie. So it's like, I get why people see all those things. I don't look down on people for seeing it. And like, someone's like, if you think that happened, what are you talking about? If that was Joe Biden, you would think that too. So would I, so just be real about it. Everybody's so like just caught up that they don't even think about anything. So, it is what it is, but that's why I'm here, and today I've been taking care of other stuff this week, etc. I felt good to go today, and so far so good. Someone said the only people winning are the extremists who run the West, and they have no competition. Nobody else moves or shakes or does anything except maybe complain or get angry online. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I hear what you're saying, affected area. That's the conclusion I came to like a couple years ago too, where it's like, people even, they used to say like, oh, it's just Democrats and Republicans and it's all the same, same wings of the same bird. And then when Trump come around, it's like, oh, the Democrats are brainwashed, which is true. They're worse than they've ever been. I mean, the Democrats have like lost their minds. But then it's like, oh, but we're not part of the red blue because we're part of Trump. It's like Trump helps Mike Johnson get every bill passed. He helps Mitch McConnell get every bill passed. Like, he's not that different. But I still want people to vote for him. I want him to win, and I want to see what he can do. But like, most people on the right are in denial. Like they want Trump to be who they want him to be because they want to see these things in the country. And to me, I've said this a bunch, it just sounds to me like I want. Yeah, I want to be like this and that too, but like, how do I get that way? You got to work for it. You can't just like want all these things. But most Americans, they're so like, they just want to, I want this America to look this way. So I believe that he'll do it because I want that. And it's like, okay, but if you do the research and you realize it's not going to happen, then, that it's not a black bill. It just means that you have to like be a part of the solution. You have to be able to call out the politicians. And I think calling out a politician, left or right, or even Trump, it's like a Scooby-Doo. It's like taking the hat off of Scooby-Doo. And they're like, oh, we would have got away with it if it weren't for you pesky kids. These are who politicians are. Like their whole life is to psyop you and convince you to thinking you're fighting the side and they're not. And the second you realize it's not like a bad thing. It's not like they turn and start hating you. It's just like, they're like, oh, you got us. Now we got to do it. Or, like the left, they won't do anything until they have to do it. The reason, at least that I could see, the most plausible reason that New York and California open their states is because if you look at the economics, $1 trillion, I think like billions or $1 trillion, I forget the number, but let's just say it's $1 trillion. $1 trillion was lost from California and New York, and we're flowing to states like Texas and Florida, who opened up. Ron DeSantis pushed the open up in a big state before whatever the wheelchair guy's name is. I forget his name. The governor of the Republican guy, Governor Abbott. And then Governor Abbott did it. And those are two big economies, Texas and Florida. And people just started leaving. So Gavin Newsom had to open the California. Eric Adams had to do it. Eric Adams has to chill with the illegal immigrants because they're destroying his budget and he doesn't know what the hell to do with them. So it's like people don't do shit till they have to. That's a politician. I know people want to believe like it's something else or they had a change of heart. They'll change when they have to change, like that's just what it is. And same with the right. Like they constantly like psyop the right into caring about the left. So the right never realizes that they're failing them. Cause it's like, yeah, I might've failed you in my term and blew up the economy, but look at the left. They're trying to transition your kids. And it's like, holy shit, I can't vote for them. I got to vote for the right. Sure. But that's, you get it like that. It's like a game of perception that they're playing. It's really smart. And I don't think enough people are smart enough to figure it out. Like I'm not big into like IQ numbers and I don't really like study, like if you're smart, you're smart, you're not. I don't need a fucking test or like someone to tell me who's smart and who's not. But in general, it's like, I would assume that like there's a certain IQ level that can understand that concept. And then there's like, 80% of the population who can't, like they can't understand the concept I just said. And like, even if you tell it to them, like they don't want to believe it. It's just like, just shut up. Okay. It's going to keep happening. But like Wilbur says, this guy's clueless. He needs to have insiders tell him what's going on. Anomalies should not be making baseless assumptions. it's almost like your ears are closed and you're just having a conversation with yourself because there's not really like assumptions being made and like nothing's baseless. It's almost like you're just like repeating something you heard from somewhere, like a chat GPT. Like it doesn't even really line up to what we're talking about at all. Like it's like maybe it would have made more sense like 20 minutes ago or something, but not really. I don't think I've made like assumptions in this. Someone said I'm dumb, but I'm diligent with a wink face. Nice. There you go. Well, we all have our pros and cons. Intelligence comes in some ways, mental, emotional. Some people are like autistic and they just crush at one thing or two things, to each their own. Question everything said, I agree. These events feel like they're designed to drain our attention and energy so we don't go out and create in the Lord Jesus Christ's name. Interesting. And with Trump and Bibi, I see people talking about it. Like, this is the conclusion I came to. And I know people can get mad, but it's like, okay, when Hillary Clinton or Kamala Harris or Eric Adams or freaking Chuck Schumer, when they play both sides, right? Because like Eric Adams plays both sides of the illegal migration thing. Chuck Schumer, it's like, I would guess he's super pro-Israel, but then he's like, Netanyahu, you need to stop and get a two-state solution. Maybe Chuck Schumer really wants a two-state solution because there's a lot of people in Israel that are not happy with Netanyahu as well because he's going so hard. He's like risking, in my opinion, like if there's PR for Israel, the last year has been the worst PR in history for Israel. So it's like, at the end of the day, you don't want like everyone to hate you. You want people to like you. So there's a lot of Israelis who are even mad at Netanyahu, but whatever. What I'm saying is like when politicians that you don't like play both sides, you're like, oh, they're just playing both sides. They're just being fake. They're politicians. Like you don't like think that deeply about it. You just know politicians are phony. But when Trump plays both sides, people think they're doing like, a Scooby-Doo mystery, like R.L. Stein Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventure mystery, where they're like, oh, he shook Bibi's hand, but then he wrote that, but then he wrote that. And it's like, yeah, Trump is playing games with these people, and he's like super alpha, like the way, like I do pay attention to the body language and stuff. But in general, it's like maybe Trump's the same as maybe he's really playing games with these leaders. I hope so. But also it's like maybe he's just like every other politician. He's like, yeah, I'm mad at you, but here's the money. But I'm mad at you, but here's the money. Like he did. If you study Trump with Ukraine, he gave Ukraine missiles. He was funding Ukraine like before it was a thing. Like, he's like only Trump makes people think that it's so much different than another politician, but maybe it's not. But, time will tell all. His first term didn't end well, but maybe this one will. I'm not ruling it out. It's just like these are the things that I think. And then from my brain, they come out my mouth. And that's called a podcast. JK said, I'm off work today and you're here. Nice to see you, brother. Hope you've been well. Miss seeing you because I don't really watch anyone else. Lowe's, lunch on me. Take care. Thanks. Thank you, JK. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. You're the man. Someone said, Anomaly, stop reading the comments. I think the plan is to get you to take a break. Is the fake comments, fake numbers? I'm good. I mean, I'm enjoying the comments. I don't have to agree, but I think it's been chill. Sometimes I do ignore the comments and I just keep it moving. But when it comes to like this live stream right now, I don't mind them. I mean, there's a lot of losers in the comments. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of weirdos out there, and and then there's a lot of great people like you watching at home. You're great. The other guy though, come on, we all know some weirdos here. I'm just kidding. See, it seemed like it was custom to you. You're like, oh, me? And you're like, yeah, you're the good guy here. But that other guy, and then everyone's thinking that. But then, see, that's the art of perception. Someone said JD Vance McMahon. That's pretty funny. WWE Trump 2024. Let's enjoy the show. I missed the whole Hulk Hogan thing, but I saw the memes where he just like ripped his shirt off and had a Trump shirt under it. He's like, we got to go beat up Iran. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody wants to like really go after Iran, like everybody. So I would be shocked if that didn't happen. Or I don't know. Trump's like, we got to wipe them off the map. It's like, bro, there's like 80 million people there. That's not what we're going to do. But who's the best candidate? I mean, I think Trump. It's Trump or Kamala. Like, to me, you got to go Trump, and then you got to just like pay attention. You're not going to get anything out of Kamala. They're like, when it comes to like Kamala and like the Democratic Party, think of like a support service that doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Like you have a problem with your phone bill and it's like, call this number, and it's like, this number's out of service. There's no one here. That's Kamala and Joe Biden and all those guys. Trump, he's a little more in touch. Like he's still a politician. He's still going to be sneaky, but like Trump is the choice. You know, you just got to stop like licking his shoes and like pay attention, because he's gonna cave to the donors. He's gonna cave to the politicians. He's gonna do some sneaky shit. You just got to pay attention. But at least with Trump, there's like a number to call. He might ignore you 80% of the time, but like his son's listening. Like the Democratic Party, it's all deception. You know what I'm saying? Like everything's fake. There is no support. It's not real. Everything is like sideways. With the Republicans, it's a lot of sneaky stuff, but there is a way to influence policy, you know? So I think you got to vote for Trump and then influence the policy. Not like it's, you know, I would never like vote for Biden, and I don't want them to win because like they're so reckless with basic stuff. I think Trump would be better domestically, but Trump's such a character. Like I feel like who Trump is and who Trump people think Trump is like two different things, where like he's kind of just like chilling sometimes, you know, like everyone thinks he has like this huge agenda. Sometimes he's just fucking around, you know, he's just like, I'm golfing, I'm chilling with Bryson DeChambeau, like I look good. Like, you know, like Trump's kind of like a funny guy. Like, you know, he's very funny, but I think people are like, oh, he's got this huge plan for the deep state. And he's like, no, I'm just golfing. You know, like he's like, I'll work with them sometimes or I won't. Like, I don't think his conviction is nearly as strong as everybody in his parties is, which doesn't have to be a bad thing if you just recognize it and, you know, kind of just figure it out. But who knows? Someone said, I've changed my mind. The moon is not made of cheese. I don't think it's made of cheese, but, you know, why did everybody used to say that? That's like, oh, the moon's made of cheese, guys. Was that their way to like stop people from like questioning like the moon landing? People were like, how did that bowl of tinfoil go up to the moon? How did that land on the moon? How did the telephone reach back to America so quickly? Like, how did that all happen? And they're like, what did you say? Did you say the moon's made of cheese? And you're like, no, I did not say the moon's made of cheese. I just said I don't think they really landed on the moon. And they're like, oh, this conspiracy theorist thinks that the moon's made of cheese. Oh, what do you think? It's blue cheese or Swiss? And I was like, that's not what I said. I just said I don't think we landed on the They created that theory to just be so goofy. They're like, oh, look at the cheese head over here. And then everyone's laughing at you. And you're like, I never said that it was made of cheese. But they created their own. That's like a psyop theory where it's like with flat earth, it's like, oh, you think it's a cube? You're like, I never said it's a cube. They're like, oh, you think it's like a dice? You think the earth is shaped like 6-sided dice? And you're like, no, I just think it's a dome. I don't think we can go to the end. I don't know. They don't fly over Antarctica. I'm just saying it might be like a dome. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, you think it's like flat like a pancake with no dimensions? And you're like, no, I never said that. But you know, they always like make like a side theory to the theory that everyone has to make it sound so crazy. They're like, if the earth is flat, then is the water just flowing off the end of it? And you're like, I don't think so. But you know, it's like, oh, and the moon's made of cheese. Right. Anyway, here's Neil deGrasse Tyson and Shil Nye, the Democratic Party spy guy, to tell you why you should be voting for Kamala Harris. And it's the scientific thing to do to fight the climate change on the planet, which used to be called global warming. But then when we realized certain places were getting colder, it didn't make sense. And certain glaciers were actually freezing more. We had to change it to climate change because that's extremely broad and would literally cover every change of weather ever. It's like, okay, this show's getting weird. That's why I don't watch TV. Someone said you're not allowed to think for yourself. I thought you knew. I don't know what you're referring to. Did my joke go over your head or something? Would I eat the cheese, the moon cheese? No. That would have been funny though. Like imagine if like you were in like 3rd grade history class and everyone's brainwashed, or 5th grade or whatever. And like they're like, look, here's Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong eating the cheese on the moon. And they're just like sitting there like eating cheese. And everyone's like, oh, this looks so real. And you're like, no, this looks fake. And they're like, this conspiracy theorist doesn't believe Buzz Aldrin ate a pound of cheese on the moon and then flew back without having to use the restroom. It's like, That's what public school reminded me of. Someone said, "Never trust the Hulkster. Never trust the Hulkster, brother." He said he's New World Order, and when you're New World Order, you're New World Order for life. That's a good joke. If people don't know, there was a New World Order in the WWF before it was WWE. That's a good one. Don't trust me, brother. I'm the. Was he part of that? I think he was, right? I wasn't like a huge wrestling fan, but I know enough to know that the NWO was like a wrestling group. Maybe Hulk Hogan. Who else was in it? Let's see. NWO wrestling. The NWO was Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash. That's who's running the world, by the way, guys. Everyone's like, oh, the Rothschilds are running the world. Oh, that's anti-Semitic. Israel's running the world. Oh my gosh, that's anti-Semitic. The real New World Order is Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash. They're running the world. And it's not hate speech because allegedly they're all Caucasian or something, but just kidding. Thanks, Kimberly. I appreciate it. I'm trying to think who I used to like. I don't know. I didn't really watch, but I played the video game. I want to say, like, was there a guy named Brett the Hitman Hart or something? I liked him in the video game. Someone said, yeah, people were talking about Thomas Massey's wife. I'm going to let him speak on that. He knows what really happened. He seems in good spirits, which is great because that's a devastating thing to happen. And, I want to hear what he ends up saying. I don't want to speculate on that. Anomaly. So since Amber Rose is on the right now, are the Republicans going to start supporting the slut walk? I don't know. Here's my thing is like, Amber Rose seems like a lovely lady. I'm sure, we'd be friends if we hung out. It's just like she's doing her OnlyFans, right? Whatever. She's selling these like coins, she's selling these like little like scammy coins. It's just like, I don't know. It just seems a little like unnecessary, but I don't know. Like, I guess like the Republicans like desperately want famous people on their side. So how influential is she? I don't know. I don't know how popular she is or influential, but to me, it's just like a little much. Even like, let me look at like Caitlyn Jenner's like whatever it is, Twitter. Hold on one second. Like Caitlyn Jenner's like selling some coin too, and it's just like why is everyone selling these like scammy coins? They're not like top 100 coins. They make up their own cryptocurrency, and then they're like, get it, limited time. So many of these have failed. People have lost so much money. There's so many lawsuits. Like, why, if you're rich, especially Caitlyn Jenner's got to be super rich, right? You would think. Yeah, like Caitlyn Jenner. Let me see. Selling some. I'm trying to see. Like, I don't know. Oh yeah, here it is. Just like Jenner sprinted to victory at the Olympics, we're gearing up for our own Jenner coin Olympics event. So there's like selling a Jenner crypto coin. Like, I don't know. And I think Amber Rose is selling a crypto coin too. Anytime anybody sells a crypto coin, I just think like scam. But whatever. I don't know what that had to do with what you asked, but too late. Someone said the Trump rally incident, this is affected. He said the Trump rally incident created a huge sense of right-wing rising and left on the run, and almost immediately followed by an RNC conference supporting diversity, multiculturalism, gays, and satanic celebs. Yeah, I didn't even watch it, but from the clips, like they were like doing like some like weird prayer, and then like, I don't know. It's like, that's nice, that's nice that they do that. But for sure, I feel like if the Democrats were doing half that shit, that Republicans would be laughing hysterically at it. But I just tune it out because it's like the less I know, the better. They're like, we are so diverse and we love the gays more than the Democrats. The Democrats are the real gay haters. Ronna Romney McDaniel, she loves the gays. Okay, it was the Democrats who never wanted to let you get married. I don't know. I feel like that's like Republicans. They're stuck in like 2017 mode where they're like, the Democrats are the real racists. Remember when the Democrats were the real racists and the parties never flipped? And you're like, dude, that was like a 2017 talking point. Like we're so advanced now, we're so JD advanced. Get it? It's just like I don't know. There was like some like Indian Hindu prayer or something like to start it off. I don't know, to each their own. Like if I'm at like an Indian wedding or somewhere like in India and they're doing prayers, like I think it's awesome. I like respect other religions. I respect people's spirituality, but like at the RNC, I don't know. It's like a little goofy. I'm not like against it completely, but like, there's thousands of prayers that you can do in the world. They're not all at the RNC, like I'm not offended by it, but it's just like it's like when there's some weird like flute player at the Democratic thing and they're and they're all like, and you're like, what the hell? It just looks kind of like weird. It's like even with like America, like when America plays like a sports game, they play like the American national anthem. I don't know. It's like we can't have anything anymore. Everything's got to be like everything else. I don't know. I get why people were like annoyed at it, but I see it on both ways. I just tuned it out. I don't want to listen to it. Someone said, I mean, a lot of the racist rhetoric does come from the left. Define racist, since that word's been used 10,000 times. Like, what does racist mean to you since you're calling the left racist? We'll wait. We'll probably never get the answer because someone said the RNC was a shit show. Yeah, I tuned it out for a reason. See, but like that's the thing. Like I'm supposed to watch it. I'm supposed to watch it for work and then be like, yo, I watched the RNC, but I'm just like, I don't even have the energy to do it. Let me lose the money and views. That's fine. It's pandering. Let's be honest. Yeah, it's pandering, but it's just like weird. I don't know. It just looks like from all the things I saw, it looked like just like aimless, like, but that's what they are. They are aimless. So, it's like everybody wants to think they have this huge like idea of what they're going to do, but I don't think they really do. I think so much in politics is like getting in. And then once you're in, you're like, oh shit, I won. It's like, wait, me? Oh, wait, there's wars now. I mean, hopefully they like close the border and have a plan, but who knows? Someone said, instead of racism, we should just say the left has hatred for white people in the West. Just say anti-white hatred, said Sarah Jane. I mean, I think it's like more specific, when you use like broad words, like, that was racist. It's like, does that mean like, you picked a white person over a black person? Does that mean a cop did something? Does that mean you just exist? Does that mean someone was doing something messed up to another race? Like it could be 1,000 things. So it's better to like be specific, because that's the thing with like anti-Semitic. If you ask 30 different people, they'd say 30 different things, or they'd go with the definition that has 1,000 definitions. So it's like, when you use that word, like, what do you mean by it? Because you'll be accused of that. And you're like, I'm not that. So just say what you mean. Like, what do you not like about Ilhan Omar? I don't like Ilhan Omar because her policies suck for America. And also, I don't like the fact that she supports Palestine. I want, people want to do what they want to do, and they don't want Ilhan Omar to be on the other side, or at least sympathetic to the other side. At least that's straightforward, right? Like what I just said is like, that's why you don't like her. But when you just say anti-Semitic, to me, it's just cringe at this point, because it's like an overused word that's basically used to like stop people from doing anything. Like, oh, if you say American Congress is controlled, that's anti-Semitic. It's like, okay, if like China was working with another country, is that anti-Chinetic or something? Like, can I not say that China's planted leaders in Africa to work with them? No, that's anti-Chinetic, but only if it's a certain group of people. It's hate speech, right? To say that there's a connection between Zelensky and that. Oh my gosh, can't say that. So it's, it's like that. It just becomes this whole like accusation fest instead of people being specific. Like I'm very specific with what I say. Like, here's why I don't like this politician. Just using the words racist or anti-Semitic or sexist, it's just cringe at this point. I think you should just say what you mean. Like, I don't like Rashida Tlaib because, say you're super pro-Israel. You're like, I'm super pro-Israel. She sides more with Palestine, so I don't like her. That makes sense. If you like that side of the war and she's supporting the other side of the war, then yeah, for sure. Or if she's saying that you're killing too many civilians, but you want to kill that many civilians, then you're like, we don't care how many we kill. It's like, I'm not saying that's right or good. Obviously, it's kind of horrific, but at least you're being straightforward. It's like, this is why I don't like her. This is what I like. This is the country I like. This is the country I want to defend. And she's, in the way, or she's annoying. That's more respectable than just saying, oh, she's being so hateful. It's like, you hate what she's saying because you're on the other side of the war. I'm not saying you have to like her, but it's just like everybody's just crying hate all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even with all this like Trump and Biden stuff, if roles were reversed, everyone on the right and left, they're the same person. They'll do the same things. So if you're that same person who do the same thing, don't act shocked when the other side does it. You don't have to like it. You could say they're wrong because they might be, but it's like, oh, I can't believe they thought that. You would think that if it were Biden. You would absolutely think that. You'd absolutely say that. And you would absolutely justify certain things that you wouldn't justify for Trump because you like Trump, because you think Trump's the truth and you don't think Biden's the truth. And they think Trump's the enemy. And, it's like, I get it all. It's just like everybody, I just like people that just get to the point, not like play this game of like, well, I was accused of being hateful 1,000 times, but now I'm going to accuse her of being hateful because it's politically convenient. Okay, well then I won't feel bad for you when it happens to you again. Anyway, have I ever heard of? No, but someone said, "Are you all Democrats?" I like a lot at the RNC. I don't know Vance, but I don't know what you're talking about. But you look like your name is like obscure, so maybe you're from another country, just trying to hang out with the Americans here. Maybe you're American and you just don't know how to type. But either way, welcome to the club. We're all here. We're all on the same team. Anyway, let's see. Someone said I would buy USDA organic tea. You're talking about the hemp, man? You're just talking about some hemp over there to yourself, just having a conversation. Interesting. Someone said, can't call the left racist. Can't call the left racist, then you're a grifter. Your name is Normie, which is funny because like you're a normie. You're like just saying normie things, and you're like, my name's Norman Normie. I'm just a normal guy believing normal propaganda, and you're a grifter. If you could say whatever you want. You can call anybody racist, sexist, anti-Semitic, xenophobic, climate denier. You could use any words you want. I'm just telling you why I don't like those words, because it basically just means I'm a better person morally. You're wrong, but I don't even really have to articulate why I'm just that. You're just that. Like Trump's the real racist. Like, okay, conversation over. Like, what don't you like about Trump? Well, I don't like his border policy. Okay, but how is it racist? Well, it's not. It's just like I just don't like. It's like that's what that word means. You can call the left racist. It's just a cringe 2017 like normie thing to do, though. It's like they're the real racist. Like the person said, just say what they're doing. Like what are they doing? They're being hypocrites, and a lot of their rhetoric is anti-white, or or they're allowing other races to congregate, and then they call it supremacy when one race does it. And like whatever you need to say, just say it. But if you just say racist, it doesn't like mean anything. It's like saying climate change. Like, hey, the climate's changing. Oh, I'm right all the time, because it doesn't mean anything. It means everything. It means nothing. I've made this point before. I've never heard anyone make it before me, but like climate change happens all the time. The sun goes up, the climate changes. The sun goes down, the climate changes. It rains, snows, it doesn't rain or snow, the climate changes. Every day, the climate changes. Every hour, the climate changes. Sun up, sun down, climate change. Winter, autumn, spring, summer, climate change. Shifts, storms. Like everything is climate change. So if you say climate change, like you're automatically always right. There's like never a time, like if all the climate was the same all the time, that almost would be like a problem. It'd be like, are we stuck? Like did the simulation freeze or something? Did God just want to chill for a second and, use the restroom? Like it's like you wouldn't want the climate to stay stagnant. Like that would be weird. So it's like that word, like it sounds smart to dumb people or to left wingers, like, oh, climate change. It's like, well, that's like me watching like the NBA and you're like, yo, who's going to win this year? And I'm like, the basketball players. And then they win. And I'm like, I told you the freaking, I told you the Boston Celtics were going to win. You said the basketball players are going to win. Was I wrong? Did they not win? A team's going to win. A team with like some black guys and some white guys is going to win the league. It's like, that's every team. It's like, dude, how did I guess? I don't know. I guess the MLB too. I was like, someone's going to like use a bat and like hit the ball like out of the park a few times. The pitcher's going to pitch good and like a team's going to win. And there's going to be, some white dudes, some Dominicans on the team. Like it's something like that. And then dude, how did you know that Texas Rangers were going to win? You're like, dude, I'm a genius. I don't know. I just predict every event all the time. But Someone said you can't handle the red, white, and blue leg drop. Is that like a Hulk Hogan term? Are you being hateful towards me? You're like, oh, Hulk Hogan's gonna hurt you. I'm just kidding. See, I could spin it into like, oh my gosh, you're saying Hulk Hogan's gonna leg drop me because I don't like Trump enough. No, I'm just kidding. Someone said John Legend and Nam went woke. There's 592 people watching and like 591 people understand it. And your name is Normie and you don't understand it. So you're just a normie. It's okay. So he's a can't say racist, woke grifter. Dude, someone normal Norman, the normie. He's like, I wake up, I watch the news. I say everything's racist. I go to bed. I don't understand any other concepts besides Dan Bongino and cat turd. Dude, I don't want to be a dick, but like the one guy at the rally that got shot, rest in peace, he was like responding to cat turd all the time. It's like, I'm not saying that means anything, but it's just like cat turd has boomers like just totally like brainwashed. Like it's like every time you talk to a boomer, they're like cat turd, Dan Bongino, and like everything cat turd and Dan Bongino says like gospel. But rest in peace to that guy. I saw a post too. I mean, I'm just gonna bring this up because it's real reality. You probably won't hear this anywhere else, but it was going viral. He was talking about like Israel and Palestine, and there was a post from that guy who died at the Trump rally. But he was talking about like people were saying like they were showing how devastating all the bombs were. Like the whole neighborhood was destroyed. And he essentially responded to it and was like, who cares? Japan rebuilt, Japanese people rebuilt Japan and didn't complain. Rest in peace to that guy because he's dead right now. But I think everybody that's alive should really think about stuff like that, because that's not the type of energy you want to really be putting out into the world, where like you see like a horrific destroyed neighborhood and you're like, oh, they'll get over it because we bombed and killed Japanese people and they got over it. Like that's that's like a really evil, sick mindset to have. So, of course, left wingers were bringing that up and like saying, look at this guy, where you want to be respectful to him and his family. And it's horrific what happened. But, putting energy like that out into the world, that's like some demonic, evil shit. Like you don't want to look at a destroyed neighborhood where thousands of people are dying and be like, oh, they're fine, they'll get over it. It's like, well, would you want that for your family? Of course not. But why would that be okay? Like people are really messed up out here, and these are right wingers, so I'm just saying like, there's thousands of people, millions of people that say messed up stuff all the time and they're fine. I'm not correlating the two, but while people are here, I definitely think you should think about what you're doing and saying, because sometimes I post things to Facebook and like the responses I get from the boomers, not all the time, there's a lot of great boomers, it's like evil. Like these people are like brainwashed into thinking like it's totally okay to destroy cities and like have like millions of people displaced. And like if you say those people are bad and we have to do this because they're really bad, I'm not saying you're right, but at least that makes more sense than like, who cares? They'll get over it. The Japanese did. It's like, what's wrong with you? Like, have you lost your mind? And this is the thing. A lot of people are losing their minds. They're losing their minds over social media. They're losing their minds over watching the same four, boomer, like brainwash content on loop. They're losing their minds fighting the left. They're losing their minds hating Donald Trump. Like a lot of America is losing it, just based on like how crazy social media has been. But just something to think about. Someone said crazy. A basic bro said crazy how I've agreed with BLM and the squad in the last 24 hours over takes of the right. What's been happening in the last 24 hours that you agree with them? To me, politics is like this. Like they're right. It's like I'm not saying this is really happening, but it's like a race where like your guy's winning and then they like betray you and the other side says something right and you're like, oh, but then they do something scummy the next day. It's like this constant theater of like, the right is so close and they're right about almost everything, but like on a really important topic, they're completely wrong about. And like, and then like the one time that the left says the truth, they get mad at them and say it's hate speech and try to shut them up. Like, it's like a stupid theater that's going on. I agree with the right on most, but yeah, there are times where people on the left are actually right. And that's when the right passes speech legislation to basically like make it illegal for a congressman to even say anything like that as they're sending our money overseas. Like, a lot of people don't see it this way, but I see the left Ukraine, the right Israel. It's like the same thing. It's like they both justify it. Like you talk to a left winger, they'll be like, well, we have to fund Ukraine. Why? Well, because Putin's Hitler, and you're like, what? How is Putin Hitler? I don't get it. But like, it's like, we got to fund Ukraine for the democracy and whatever. And like, when you research it, like, listen, I know a lot of great Ukrainian people. It's not like really a democracy there. We're not really saving democracy. We don't really give a shit about democracy. Like, it's not for democracy. That's the excuse they say. That's not what we're doing. Whatever. But the left won't drop it because they're like, they'll say we should defund Israel, but they won't say it about Ukraine because they're so deeply programmed to think that they really need to fund Ukraine with our money or else Putin's Hitler or something. And then you go to Israel and right-wing boomers, most of the young people are smarter than this, but the boomers over 50 are like brain dead on this topic. They think they've complained about Zelensky, they've complained about Ukraine, they've complained about sending hundreds of millions of dollars to Ukraine, but when it's Israel, it's okay. Like, have they never thought that they could fund themselves? We're in debt. How are we funding them? Why can't they just take out a loan of their own? Because ours are putting us in further debt. Like, why don't they just do it with their own money? Like, boomers haven't thought like that. So like, no, it's totally different now. It's totally different because you got brainwashed by your fake pastor, brainwashed by Sean Hannity, brainwashed by Donald Trump, brainwashed by Dan Bongino, brainwashed by all the neocons who branded themselves as Trump patriots, but they're the same neocons. And they say they're fighting the neocons with the same neocon agenda. It's like, the same, like both sides are stupid on the topic. So it's like when you listen to like freaking, someone on the right talk about Ukraine, they sound like a genius. Even people like David Sachs talks about Ukraine. He gets it, Elon Musk. But then it's like you listen to a right winger talk about Israel and they sound like listening to a left winger talk about Ukraine. Same talking points, same logic, same analogy, just mixed with a little bit of, in some cases, ethnic pride because it's an ethno state of a certain group, and religious text because a lot of Christians were raised at thinking that Christianity equals Zionism and that they can't be a Christian without the Zionist, mindset or thinking that American nationalism equals Zionism and you can't be a nationalist or a Christian without Zionism, which is like a newer concept because Israel was, taken or reclaimed or whatever in the 1900s. But anyway, it's like, it's all goofy, So it's like, yeah, if you're an honest person, you'll be like, oh, I actually agree with the liars like one day, but then they're going to lie about something tomorrow and then you're going to hate them again, And then the team on your team is like so honest about everything, but then when it comes to like the one topic, then they're all of a sudden not honest. And now they support speech laws. Like I could go through everything, but it's like, Donald Trump passed speech laws for Israel and his donors, but then you get called anti-Semitic in American newspaper by people that just think that you're being hateful by literally speaking the truth about what they did. DeSantis did it. All the Republicans do it. Why? Because they're all controlled by the donors or they're all compromised. I don't know what to tell you. They don't believe in the First Amendment. Then you go to someone like the Peterson family. They've made a living being like fighting the woke left. As soon as the daughter gets ratioed on Twitter, all of a sudden she makes a video saying she's fine with censorship. She wants her enemies to get censored. She wants her opponents to get censored because she's losing an argument. She's losing popularity. So she's fine with censoring the people that are making her feel uncomfortable on Twitter. So it's like, this is what the left, like it used to be the right trying to censor 20 years ago, and the left was pro-free speech. And then all of a sudden the right became pro-free speech with Donald Trump and the left started censoring. And then it's like the pendulum swings back and the right wants to start a war for this reason. Now the left wants to stop it. And the left, like, it's just all stupid, But in general, I still identify with the right way more. I think Trump should get elected. I think he's the real adult in the room. And, this is how I'm thinking about it, at least. Like, Trump might do all these sneaky things. He might not really be on your side or whatever, but he's like the adult in the room. Look at how he handshakes other guys. Like he's the alpha. He's America. Biden's not the adult in the room. Biden is perhaps too old. He's the elder in the room. Kamala is not the adult in the room. Like Trump needs to win the election. He's the real leader. Like you might not like it. You might not like what he's doing or what he's saying or what he represents, but like it's his time, and this is coming from me. I've made hundreds of videos showing you what he did during Big Pharma, etc. You understand? Like I've told the truth about Trump. I've never wavered. I've never said to just blindly believe him, but it's his time to win. Like he's the adult. There's no like, oh, well, what are you going to do? Put Kamala in office and have no customer service for 4 years? She's not going to listen to a word you guys say. Put Trump in office and be a part of the conversation. Put him in office and try to change the culture, try to make your point to people and make them understand and make them get on your side and make them realize what's going on. But it's like at this point, like we need at least an adult in the room, and then people can complain. But like complaining to Joe Biden's like yelling off a cliff, like no one's going to listen to you. You know, like complaining to Kamala, she doesn't give a shit. Like the left are just straight deceitful, like about everything. Trump and the Republicans are deceitful about like a decent amount. And it's very sneaky because a lot of people think, well, if the left's lying about everything, then the right, like they see it through that lens where they can't understand that like the left's lying about like everything and the right's lying about something. So when the right is wrong and the left is actually right, they can't like, it's like hard to like process that because it's like, what? Like that would mean Dan Bongino, cat turd, and all these people don't know what they're talking about. It's like, yeah, on that topic, they're right about like 90% of stuff. But yeah, there is an echo chamber on the right, but there's also an echo chamber for a reason. Like people don't realize that the games being played with the politicians, like they're not an echo chamber on certain countries because they like really love the countries. I mean, they'll tell you that, but what if the money stopped flowing? I know what Thomas Massey said on Twitter today. He said, if like people stop doling out money to foreign countries, I'm sure he was talking about Ukraine and Israel mostly. He said 99% of lobbyists would leave Washington. Like the only reason they stick around Washington is because they could pay off both politicians. And then say you're a lobbyist for Ukraine or Israel. I mean, I don't know exactly how this happens, but I'm just speculating. Say you're a Ukraine lobbyist. Ukraine gets $100 billion. Do you think you're not getting a cut of that? Like you just got a country $100 billion of American taxpayer money. So it's a huge business. Israel gets a couple $2 billion a year, every year for the last 30, 40 years. It's just a constant money flow. And the second you notice it, they just say you hate them. It's like, if we can't take your money, you hate us. It's like, that seems a little unfair and super sneaky, but touche, smart idea, I guess. It's definitely a good way to continuously get it and shame everybody who notices. But it's like, these are the games that are being played. A lot of people are figuring it out. Some aren't, but I think Trump should win. I think he's the real adult in the room. And then I think his base and the people behind him need to pay attention. But this is what I'll say too, is as bad as like, the television was, which it was, and it's better now because you have more options. Like I do think social media is way better and people are getting more advanced. You could still get caught in these like loops, like if you listen to the same 5 people, it could be a loop and you might not know. So we'll end on that note. I would say just for your own mental and physical health, pay attention to social media. You know what I'm saying? Let it make you happy. Let it connect you to the world and, feed you with information and communication and stuff. I mean, the internet is a great thing. I've been blessed by it. So have many people, but at a certain point, I think sometimes we're just going through the motions and we don't stop and really think about it. So that's what I've done. I explained it earlier. I'm not going to get into it again for the multiple reasons why, but it's not really a bad thing. I consider it a blessing. And, I like every social media, not just me, like as a creator, but also as a user, they have figured out how to keep you on their platform. They figured out how to make you want to stay. And for regular users, they just hit you with the dopamine of like, like you just can't stop listening because it's like, I don't want to put my phone down. And for the creator, they nickel and dime us. I mean, they're like, we'll do this for you. We'll give you money. But at a certain point, like any job, for me at least, it's like, a money is a transaction. It's like if you make $50 an hour or $20 an hour or whatever, it's like that's the transaction. You'll go there for 8 hours and you'll make this much for being there for that long. So with social media, like I've noticed they play these little games, but it's like they're all vying for our attention, but they're really not doing that much. So myself, since I'm kind of taking a step back, and it's like I don't want to just be consumed by like 8 social medias at once, just throwing content out. Like I don't really post that much on Instagram. I haven't posted on Twitter in a month, and I feel good about it. I'll probably get back to it at a certain point, but like Twitter to me, it's like, is that really a cycle I want to be caught in? I don't know. Like I like YouTube more than anything because like YouTube, I could listen to and do something else or put on and play a game, or you know what I'm saying? Like I can do other things while I'm listening to a long YouTube video. With Twitter, I'm kind of over it. I can't really explain it, but it's like, I know what I think. Pretty much everybody knows what I think at this point. Like I've reached a lot of people. Like, why do I need to just keep repeating myself? Or why do I like, what's the point? You know, like if people want to see my show, they can watch me on YouTube or Facebook or when I post an Instagram video. Like, why do I have to text my opinions and listen to 100 people text their opinions to my text opinion? To me, it's just getting weird. It's just like weird. And once I got away from it, I'm just like, it's Twitter's still my favorite platform for information and to research and to, you know, construct a show. But as far as like my time on there, it's just like, I don't know, the more time I spend away, the weirder it feels like to go back, because it's just this like constant, it's just this giant echo chamber of everyone's opinions all at once. And it's just like, I get it, you know, like that. I'm not like learning that much new all the time. It's just like everyone, you're like, hey, what's up? And then like 50 people say something. It's just like overwhelming, you know. It's like, do I even want to go back there? But as for like Facebook, I've been using it. YouTube, of course, I'll do stuff, but just want to let people know everything's good. Just kind of reevaluating and trying to work smarter, not harder. And it's been good. Appreciate you. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Thanks for being here. And leave a thumbs up on the video if you like it. If you feel inspired to share, and check out my shop. A lot of the things are almost completely sold out. If you've ever wanted to get anything at the shop, a lot of them are under 10 right now. It's been slowly selling out. So check out dreamrare.com. And for those who are interested in sponsoring or partnering, there's two things that I do. I do social media consulting for some people, which is like, I'll analyze your business and try to help you with a strategy that will help you become successful online. Or if you have a product that you think is healthy, good for people, and that I would like, do dreamrarebiz.com, because that's a thing too. I'm trying to get with the right people. And, you know, if I get a few sponsors that I think are ethical and good, it will really also inspire me to make like, you know, long videos, not like long, but like, you know, some of these 10-minute videos I make, they take me like 5 to 7 hours to like edit, which I don't mind doing if it's a topic I really care about. But I think with the right team around me, etc., I'd be a lot more willing to do it like 3 times, 4 times a week than now. Cause I'm just like, I'm at a place now where I just don't really care that much about social media. Like I probably should for my own job, but I'm like, I don't know. Just a lot of talking and a lot of people going in circles. So, you know, I got to be really inspired about something to want to do it. Appreciate you guys. God bless you. God bless your family. Thanks for being here. And I'll be back soon.
Hey, what's going on, my friends? Just a few ways to stay in touch and support if you'd like to. The first way is dreamrare.com. We have blue beanies, black beanies, pink hats, other colored hats, freedom versus tyranny shirts, stay blessed long sleeve, God is great long sleeve, and lots of more cool items coming soon. Dreamrare.com. Check out the shop to support. Everything's made in the United States. Handpicked by me. Patreon.com/raretalk. For $5 a month, you can help support me, support the show. If you haven't noticed, unlike other channels, I don't work with very many sponsors, sometimes none at all. And part of the way I'm able to do that is with the dreamrare.com shop and patreon.com/raretalk. So thank you guys for keeping this show free, unimpeded, uninterrupted. I'm forever grateful. My free email list is stayintouchwithme.com. So check the links below in the description, or just type in on any browser, stayintouchwithme.com, all one word. You'll find my email list, put it in there, and it's the least annoying email list you'll ever be on. I barely use it because I don't like getting emailed every day or every week. It's annoying, so I don't do it. Stayintouchwithme.com. It helps me take back some power away from big tech. Telegram, t.me/dreamrarechat or @dreamrarechat. Due to censorship, I post all my live stream and videos there. Sometimes I have some bonus content, and I try to give people a heads up when Facebook or YouTube won't. DreamRareChat at Telegram. My Instagram is @DreamRare. Thanks for everybody following there for shorter content. And DreamRareLinks.com. That's DreamRareLinks.com. Has all my stuff. My podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, my music on Spotify and Apple, my Rumble page, my BitChute and Gab page. All my links are found at DreamRareLinks.com.